there's hard games at the start.
We're bringing up the schedule here for the Dallas Cowboys 2024 NFL season.
Ravens week 3.
Ravens week 3. Like, we'll dive into it. But
We were hoping that was going to be the Thanksgiving game.
I thought we did. No, we did Texans. We were hoping Texans, and we missed it by 2 weeks. Bastards. One thing we knew, the Cowboys were going to end the season with a divisional rival. It happens so often, and it actually kind of makes sense. Washington, with what they've done this season, with bringing in DQ, bringing in a bunch of ex-Cowboys, drafting Jaden Daniels, number 2 overall. There's a possibility that the Washington Commanders have a giant turnaround this season, and there's a possibility that the Cowboys end up playing Washington week 18 in January with a bunch on the line. Like, that is a very big possibility. A lot of people are predicting the Cowboys to not have a 12-5 season, and a lot of people are predicting the Commanders to have a much better season. So just starting a little bit with just kind of, throwing it out there a little bit. That Washington Commanders game could be a lot more important than it has been the last 2 seasons when we played the Commanders. Oh, and this is the 3rd year in a row that the Cowboys finished the season playing the Commanders.
Which is a little weird, eh?
Which is a little weird.
The thing that irks me the biggest about our schedule this year before we jump in week to week is this week 7 bye.
It's early.
I don't like it. It's way early. And then after that, it goes into CanFan, Falcons, Eagles, Texans.
You got 4 hard games right after the bye week. You have this bye week, but the one good thing about the Dallas Cowboys and playing on that Thursday night against the New York Giants, they kind of get a mini bye somewhere in the week after Thanksgiving because they play Thursday. So week 13, the Cowboys play the New York Giants on 11/28, and then they don't play again until week 14, which is 12/9.
Yeah.
So that's a bunch of days in between. So that's kind of a saving grace, and I think the Cowboys sort of get dicked because of that. They'll always have an early bye week or an earlier bye week.
I mean, I don't mind the early bye, though.
Why?
I just think that... Actually, no, I hate the early bye.
I've changed his mind with one question.
No, what was our bye week last week? Was it
last
9?
year? No, last year last year was like 9 or 10.
Yeah, okay. I like the 9 or 10 area is what I was, and that's what I thought. And then I looked down like week 7. I don't fucking like week 7.
It's an issue. I personally, with the Thanksgiving Day game and having that multiple days off between the Thanksgiving Day game and then the week 14 game, they always have the Cowboys earlier in the season.
No Cap Cowboys take says he actually likes the bye week before the Niners game.
So I want to hear an explanation because we're all saying later is better because you got banged up. I want to hear the reasoning for an early bye week. Like we're swayable. All 3 of us are very swayable.
Very swayable.
A reason why the early bye week is good.
Is good. I want to hear some reasons why it would be good.
He's specifically saying before the Niners game he likes it.
Okay,
so he gets extra rest before a hard game.
So they're coming in juiced up. So you think they're getting any injuries, any dingers, they can get those guys. So you have a guy that's kind of, a little bit on the did not participate list and a little bit of the banged up list. At least he could get fixed up.
If we go week 7 bye, and then you have San Francisco, Atlanta, Philadelphia, Houston.
That's a tough one. See, I'd rather the bye after that 4-game stretch, honestly.
But before that, you got Detroit, Pittsburgh, Ravens, and Cleveland. So they have they're front. We thought it's kind of what we were predicting. It's a heavy front 9.
Yes, it is. We can all agree this schedule is way harder than the last 3 years.
Totally.
There's a lot of So what happens because the Cowboys finished first place in the NFC East? They have to play the first place in the divisions that they're matched up against. So the NFC South, the NFC West and the AFC North, I believe.
Okay, so we got week 1 at Cleveland Browns. That's a mid game.
Yeah, so it's an afternoon game for us, 1:00. It's in the slot before the Sunday night. We've never had that as CanFan either. So CanFan, that's always been a primetime game. So we've never had a 1:00 game for us to watch on opening. So you know what that means? We get to watch that, and then we get to roll into the night game, and we'll do the first Sunday night game of the year.
Oh, right. Yeah, nice.
We'll live stream that. So we'll do a back-to-back stream. Cowboys game, quick recap, which works out nice because there's about an hour and a bit in between.
WayJ's finding it.
So that's good. That I like that.
$2 super chat from Radical 808 saying, "What's up, guys?
Hell yeah.
Having vodka mules, crack them,
Baby, crack them if you got them, son." And I appreciate hearing that there's other people out there cracking them if you got them on this Wednesday night main event, son.
So our evening game on the 28th will be, or our 5 p.m. game, I guess, right?
On the 8th of the week
8th?
1.
So it is going to be Rams and Lions.
Okay. That's a good one.
Yep.
Goff. Yeah, Goff versus Stafford. That's decent. That's juicy.
That's juicy.
We'll be juiced up after. We'll be excited. Hopefully a bunch of screenshots.
Oh, boy.
But guys, back to week 1 with the Cowboys at Cleveland. So it's a away game. And it's against an AFC team. What are you guys' thoughts about that? Because a lot of the time, or again, I'm just going to go back to the 3 years that CanFan's been in existence. We've never faced off against an AFC opponent. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
I like to kick off the year with some sort of hook involved, whether it be a division rival or just like a rival who we're going to meet in the playoffs.
Playoffs.
The Cowboys versus Cleveland Browns, there's really nothing there. But perhaps that's the best place or best time for that to happen because we're going to be excited just that football's back anyways. Yep. So there's the excitement. The one interesting thing, though, is they're always trying to utilize the Cowboys to get the biggest bang for their buck that they can out of the primetime games, right? So week 1, I almost assumed, Cowboys are going to be a primetime game.
Very rare. Very rare that they're not.
And now we have Rams and Lions, which obviously that I would put that above a Cowboys game just because you got that Goff versus Stafford.
Well, like you said, you have a game within the game. The two quarterbacks for their ex teams are against each other. So there's that Hollywood aspect.
Whoever wins takes the pink slips.
Yeah, whoever wins gets to the other ones.
Cowboys could have arguably played either one of those games. What's the story between Jets and 49ers? Does one stick out here for you?
Jets 49ers, I think it's more so the Aaron Rodgers comeback.
Aaron Rodgers comeback and then just 49ers playing.
Are good.
Okay, so point being is just, are the Cowboys knocked down a peg on the NFL's best teams to play for best bang for your buck type of?
Well, I think it shows you that they are just by seeing that stuff. With the Cleveland Browns, obviously they have Amari Cooper, who was
okay.
But that's a kind of a non-existent thing.
That's an old story now.
Yeah, it's an old story. But interesting enough, the Cowboys open as 1-point underdogs.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about that? Like, to me, Deshaun Watson still as the quarterback for the Cleveland Browns does not make them a better team. I'm taking Dak Prescott over Deshaun Watson any day, and I just don't see it. I get it. Usually, even if the Browns were 3-point favorites, it's basically saying it's even. Yeah. So even as them being 1-point favorites, it's kind of saying the Cowboys are favorited, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
But exactly, it's not really an exciting game.
I'm taking the Cowboys still. Week 1.
Cowboys week 1.
Well, we're going to see Micah Parsons has been having some words, or Njoku came back out online and was kind of calling Micah out. And then also Myles Garrett's going to be lining up against Guyton. So we're going to get, that's good.
We're building some storylines.
Yeah, you're building some storylines.
And Amari Cooper versus the Cowbs.
Coops versus Trayvon and Deron not so bland.
Is this the first game the Cowboys have played against the Browns since the trade?
Yes.
Okay, well, that's interesting. Look, we're building it as we fly, but let's move on to week 2 here.
We got a lot of people in chat. What's up,
Shout
everybody?
Out, chat.
Sup.
Drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already, because we appreciate that. That brings more boosters to the CanFan Maniacs, baby.
Bot G's in the house.
G, what up? Week 2, New Orleans Saints come to play the Cowboys, and this is a morning game.
10 a.m. for us, boys.
Love it.
Do you like the 10 a.m. games?
I actually don't mind them.
They derail my whole rest of my day.
If I have something where I can continue the party after, then it's fine. If not, then I get home, I eat. Unless we eat here, and then I'm probably taking a nap at some point.
You gotta nap up.
But you say it like your day's already derailed. Sundays season is the days dedicated to the
but
Cowboys.
I'm fine by that. But at least so when we don't have the 10 a.m. game, I can sit down, I can watch the morning games for a couple quarters, watch my fantasy team, have some breakfast,
get ready,
be here by noon, and then we kick off, right? But here I'm gonna for the 10 a.m. games, I got to be here at 9 a.m.
Up and at
'em. You know, it's just like for me
it's tough.
The afternoon game's always a nice block. And just a side note, Last year, the Cowboys only had 2 morning games. So it'll be
Right.
interesting to see how many they log in.
So far we got one.
Interesting enough,
harder.
both games are by Fox. And then, so New Orleans Saints, what do you guys think about that for week 2?
All first 3 games are fucking Fox. So Brady's going to be knowing how to call.
Yeah.
Tom Brady's going to be, we're not going to hear it.
No, we won't hear it, but at least we don't have to see Greg Olson's stupid forehead.
Oh, yeah.
At least we don't have to see him just Neanderthaling at us.
Okay, the first 2 weeks for me are comparatively the lowest excitement games almost of the whole season.
Agreed. And they're back to back.
So
that's good though, because sometimes we get that late in the season.
Yeah.
And like the first 7 games are so good, and then it's like it happened to me last year. I hate to say it, but there was a couple games there that it was like, I'm still excited that it's a Cowboys game, but you don't still have that same amped up thing. Whereas against Cleveland, week 1, we're going to be amped up no matter what, like you said. And we'll still be amped up by week. Week 2.
Yep, exactly. Or we'll be nervous as shit going into
because they lost, right? So maybe that's good that it's kind of like that.
I call a 2-0 just off the top of my head on this run. Week 3, Baltimore Ravens, and this is where I think we get our first tough competition, and we're really going to see how that defense holds up against a quarterback like Lamar Jackson.
And hey, this is an exciting one.
This is a midday game too.
The NFL 2023 MVP versus the guy that should have been the MVP. So that's exciting, right?
First Thursday night game.
Prime Video.
Interesting. At the New York Giants.
First, so interesting enough.
Hey, we're in New York.
Hey, DeVito, whatever the hell that guy's name was. The interesting enough is the first division game isn't until week 4, which I'm very surprised about. The NFL usually likes division games early. We don't have one until week 4 at the Giants on Prime Video.
Week 5. This is a fun game at Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm excited to watch the Steelers this year with the draft that they had. They got
a good one. Couple of our boys
that we really liked, that we really championed, and just Steelers. I like the team. I like the history.
That would have been a Mike Johnson trip if we would have went to that one.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like Mike Johnson was a big Steelers fan. Actually, Stadale, UKSD, he might be going to a Steelers game this year. And
that would be a good game. That would be a good game to go. And hey, fellas, that is also Sunday Night Football.
It's a Sunday Night Football game, and on NBC, the first NBC.
Well, first Cowboys prime time slot. Like Thursday night is prime time technically,
right?
But they're always kind of just like the
kind
Thursday
of the stepchild game.
Yeah, it's the stepchild game. Whereas like Sunday Night Football or Monday Night Football is kind of the cream of the.
Then this is kind of the last. Interesting that it lines up the week before our bye. Week 6, after week 6 here, and we're at home against the Detroit Lions. Midday game, afternoon game on Fox. So another Fox game.
So Cowboys will always get predominantly Fox games.
Yeah.
The Fox has the right
because they're right wing.
Exactly. Yep. That's the reason. Fox has the NFC and CBS has the AFC.
But this after this week 6 game against the Detroit Lions, which is going to be a good game.
Hell yeah.
Probably our biggest test. Well, next to Baltimore or in that same tier as Baltimore. But sorry, what I was going to say is after week 6, this is where the NFL starts to show its true colors. Who's who. So maybe in that, if I'm making an argument, there's a case for the week 7 bye. Is you're either doing really well and you can work on the things that are working in your favor, or there's some hiccups in those first 6 games and you get that reset week to kind of go back to the drawing board. We saw the Cowboys do that. I don't know if it was exactly week 6, but it was when they started to really throw to CeeDee Lamb and utilize him as a
they kind of lost to San Fran in week 5.
Week 5, right?
And then they might even have the bye week. They lost to Arizona early, which should have been 1. Then they lost to San Francisco, and then they had a bye week shortly after that. And then they started just chucking it to CeeDee.
Okay, so going into the bye week, what's your guys' record?
Before we give our predictions, let's look at these 6 teams and rank these 6 teams.
And this is in the bye week.
Has to be a record for 6. Yeah. I think Baltimore's the best team. Then you got Detroit Lions. Then you have Pittsburgh Steelers, Cleveland Browns, New York Giants. Sorry, I'll go New Orleans Saints, New York Giants. Those are my 6.
Yeah.
And then where would you put the Cowboys in there? I'd put them probably behind Baltimore and Detroit. So that puts us as the 3rd best team out of the 7 teams.
Both of those games are home games. Baltimore and Detroit, which helps.
The Cowboys were undefeated in the regular season last year.
Well, yeah, which is why this helps here.
Yeah, in the regular season.
The only Boots is going to be at the New Orleans game, so Boots live in person. He doesn't have a good track record at AT&T
at
Stadium.
AT&T, that's okay.
Right, it's at AT&T. They lost when he was there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this has to be a retribution game for Boots, at Cowboys at home. I think Pittsburgh's going to be a sneaky tough game. I think that one will surprise us.
So give us a record for the first 6 games.
Low, because I always do low, because then I can be happy if I beat it. 3-3.
I can't see us being less than that. That's kind of mine was 3-3 too. I completely agree. 3-3.
More realistic for me is 4-2.
4-2.
I'm 4-2.
4-2 is realistic. 3-3 is kind of my bottom. 2-4 would be to me a nightmare start the season. And 1-5 or 0-6 is just inconceivable.
Trade everyone.
It's burn it down. Like burn it down. 0-6, you're basically.
I think we're gonna be. I think Pittsburgh and Cleveland we're losing to. I think we're gonna lose in the home opener.
Okay,
I think we're gonna lose against Pittsburgh.
I like that because they're both.
Well, we don't like that.
No, but I like the reasoning. They're not teams they're familiar with. They're both from They're both from the AFC North,
and they're away.
Away
games in outside fields.
Yeah, exactly.
So
that
early in the season, though.
Look at BW1.
Guys, look at us.
Look at us. Look at us.
And
just look at us.
And
just look at us. Crack
me if you got him, son. So week 7 bye. Let's say 3-3, but we'll figure it out at the end too. We're gonna recap.
And I think we go into 3 sections here. So you got the first 6 games, then you go from week 8 to the Thanksgiving Day game.
Yeah.
So
and then Thanksgiving Day game.
What's the score going into our second bye of the season?
That's kind of what I mean. Bring it into the thirds, right? Because you can't really go you can't go first 6 teams and then go the next 10 game or 11 games, right? Like
I like
it into 3 kind of.
And then maybe we'll see at the end what that record like adds up to, because that's always surprising. So week 8, this is going to be the first CanFan trip of the year.
Yeah, baby. CanFan will be flying the down to San Francisco, being live in action. And this is another primetime game, baby. So the Cowboys have 2 Sunday Night Football games within the first 8 weeks. So
that's nice.
So are we falling out of favor? Or are they just trying to get more meats in the chops in a certain section?
I think they just really had to go with the Rams Lions at week 1. That makes a lot of sense.
That's a sexy game.
But yeah, week 8, this is going to be the hardest game potentially of the year, probably of the year. And we get to go see it.
And there's just so much on the line.
So much on the line.
And to be there in person for the Cowboys to just get that. Do you know how much it will go to the psyche of that team to finally beat San Francisco? That's something at week 8 that if they could do that at week 8, that just sets them on a trajectory for the rest of the season.
Coming off the bye is really great too. Week 9, we got
change mocks.
We're at so back to back
bye weeks, back to back away games. Sorry, after the bye.
Yeah, Atlanta Falcons. This is an early morning game on Fox on the Sunday.
So what's that put us for early game? Second. That's at 2.
Second early game. Falcons. 2. Interesting.
Utah, give me 2.
I don't think they. Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins, Bijan Robinson, London Drake, Kyle Pitts. There's some firepower. They also took a bunch of dudes.
It's week 9. It'll be Michael Penix Jr.
I was gonna say maybe Penix Jr.'s in there. I think there's some storylines for that game. I don't hate it, and it'll be interesting.
Nothing directly connected to Cowboys.
Nothing connected except seeing how good Bijan is, and maybe Atlanta Falcons are one of the next better teams in the NFL, right? So,
I'm
exciting.
I'm scared. Year 2 Bijan week 9. He's either going to be coming into it or he's going to be just who we think.
With a new coach, man, crack him if you got him. Bijan being used how he should be used is scary force.
Yep,
very scary force.
Here we go. Probably the biggest. San Fran is actually the biggest game of the season, but this is the biggest home game of the season so far. Week 10, Philly Eagles fly their little shitbird plane into Dallas to play us. Mid-season game on CBS.
Which is weird. So I just went on a tangent saying NFC teams get Fox, and then you have two NFC teams, and you have CBS, which is kind of strange.
They got to shuffle it around, I'm sure. But this game is good.
Maybe we'll get Tony Romo.
This is really good to have a mid-season Eagles game because it's think about it. Week 8, San Francisco. Week 10.
I'll think about this.
Crack me if you got him, son.
Philadelphia Eagles. Both of those games can either increase or decrease morale, like for the season. You lose to Cleveland Browns week 1, it's like, oh shit, they got our number. But these games mean something to beat the 49ers and to beat the Eagles. So obviously Eagles for divisional purposes, but also just for rivalry and online
prowess.
Shade. Yeah, online prowess, exactly.
Speaking of rivalries, the next fucking game, week 11, against the surging Texans with CJ Stroud, the Battle of Texas, man. So that's gonna, man, look at this this 4-game stretch. San Francisco, Atlanta, Philadelphia, Houston. That is the hardest stretch of the season.
Yeah.
Right now, like on paper, the hardest stretch of the season is week 8 to week 11 with the 49ers, the Falcons, the Eagles, and the Texans. Luckily, it's a 2-for-2 split, and the Cowboys get the 2 home games on the back end of that 4-game road or 4-game
dog.
Man, that's a tough one.
You can't, so tough you can't even say it.
I can't even say it. And against the Texans,
Monday
the first
nighter.
Monday nighter, baby.
ESPN. Week 12, we got the Washington Commanders. We got 3
Commanders
division
is a 10
games in 4 weeks here.
Oh, that's another tough stretch right there.
And this is a 10 a.m. game, yes.
10 a.m. game. So
That's 3.
That's our 3.
That's
our
3
third
mornings
on Fox. Commanders, I mean, it'll just be interesting to play DQ.
See how it
what
is.
he's got.
See how it is.
Again, by week 12, it could be more or less exciting depending on how both team seasons go.
And Commanders game, short stretch. It's that Thanksgiving time. We were talking earlier about hitting that game, but I think we're gonna.
Well, yeah, you got the Commanders
delay
game,
it.
and then you have the short turnaround for the Cowboys leading into the Thanksgiving Day game against another division rival,
Week
the
13.
New York Giants.
And that's
New York Giants.
That's the Thanksgiving Thursday night game on Fox, baby.
With CanFan in attendance. And if you want to see CanFan, make sure you hit that like and subscribe, son.
So we're actually, it's 3:30. It'll be one an afternoon game. I like that slot. I like that slot
Perfect.
for the Thanksgiving game because it gives us.
That's a regular slot that we usually get.
Yes,
to, right?
yeah. But I when I read it at first, I thought it was
Later.
PST time.
Oh, right. Okay.
Right.
Which doesn't make sense. I don't know why there's never been like a 3:30 PST
But
game.
you saw it and you're like, oh, that's kind of weird. But you're like, oh, it's Thanksgiving. It makes sense a little bit.
Yeah.
The best part about that is we do our huge. We get to the stadium.
Yeah.
We do some tailgating. We do some drinking. We do some shotgunning. We watch the game. We do some more drinking. A lot of drinking.
Yeah.
Then we go to our gas station.
We go to our gas station.
We go to our gas station where we get picked up. We usually get some shitty food.
Did we do the gas station?
Yes, you were too fucked up to remember.
Yeah, we did.
We did the gas station, but we didn't stick around very long because Taylor had gotten us a Uber.
Right.
So we basically went in there and we grabbed like shit that we could make in the microwave when we got back. I wanted to go there because I wanted to get another drink. You were at that point.
I don't even remember.
But it wasn't like usual where we're out there for like an hour waiting for an Uber. We were there for maybe 10 minutes.
Okay. Well, I like that. I mean,
Maybe 10 minutes.
You know why though? Because we went to Texas Live.
Yep.
We fucked around outside of the stadium for like an hour and a half.
We
2
got the
hours.
Uber really fast.
And then it was already like
That's true.
The time that so that's probably what we'll do again this year.
Texas Live. That was fun.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, now we got to break it down from week 8
Right.
to week 13. What are you thinking here? What are you thinking? Because this is tough. AJ and I went 3-3 to open the season. Ad went 4-2. What are you guys getting from the week 8 to week 13 stretch?
I'm getting 4-2 vibes. And I'm not loving that, but I'm getting 4-2 vibes. I think
You think the Cowboys got 4-2 in that?
Yeah, because I
Juicy.
think they're going to be turning it on at this point. I think they come out with a win against San Fran or Philadelphia and Houston, or like one of they lose.
Yes.
They lose to one of those two teams, and then there's just that back-to-back or those 3 divisional games, week 10, 12, and 13, that I just see there's another divisional loss in there probably at the hands of the Commanders
don't say
in
it.
Washington.
Don't you say it, you dirty
DQ
bastard.
is going to be on his play his best game. They got a lot of good. They upgraded. Washington upgraded.
They're not
pretty-
schlubs
They're
this
not
year.
schlubs this year. So a lot of ex-Cowboys who might have like a little bit of a vendetta out for whatever reason.
Still relying on a rookie quarterback, though. You just never know, right? So, AJ's got 4-2. What are you thinking?
3-3.
Okay.
So I think we're gonna lose to Frisco, Falcons, and Houston.
Okay.
I think it's
Frisco
gonna be. I
Falcons.
think it's gonna
Okay.
be a
Really?
rough. I think it's gonna be a rough mid stretch.
I'm also going 3-3. I'm going 3-3. I think I'm going Falcons. We lose to. I'm thinking we lose the first game to the Eagles, unfortunately, and then I don't know which game we're gonna lose, but I think we drop one of the divisional matchups. So,
Yeah.
I'm sitting 3-3 for a total of 6-6. Do I like that? No, I don't like it, but it's.
This is it. This is the reasonable.
I just
breakdown.
feel like the gap between like last year the Giants Commanders.
Yep.
I'm not even thinking they're ever beating the Cowboys. Not a chance. But the gap has closed a little bit in my mind. And at this point in the season, there's just too many variables with injuries, and
Yeah.
there's just such a thin line with the Cowboys starting lineup to their backups for me to feel completely confident right now. So I'm gonna go with 3-3 right now.
Yeah, and this can all change after we see the training camp. And,
Yeah, well, we're gonna do our usual right before season final.
Oh yeah, this is
final
like
picks.
this is our initial, and
This is
like
way too early.
Wait, this is our super early picks.
So last leg here, we got week 14 we got to, right?
Yep.
Week 14 home game against the Bengals, Monday nighter on ESPN.
Second Monday night of the season.
That's a tough game.
That's tough. And man,
We're gonna know who the Cowboys are at this point.
you're gonna know, and you're gonna know. Luckily, it's at home,
Yeah.
and Burrow, you're gonna know what he is.
I like Burrows. Here's the thing: Burrows has so much good about him, but he's not. He has this bendability to him that can lose games, and it might be because he's like just taking a shot, like Josh Allen, for example. Sometimes his interception numbers are a little bit overrated because he's not afraid to just say, "Okay,
Huck 'em and
game on
chuck
the
'em.
line. I'm gonna huck it down there," and it gets picked off. So
Huck it, chuck it.
there's a little bit of that in Burrows, but again, Bengals too, scary team. They've got some weapons, and the biggest weapon is their quarterback. So we will see what happens, but that'll be a fun game.
One of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and then you got the second year in the row that the Dallas Cowboys traveled to Carolina to play
CJ Stroud's
Sorry, I said the wrong good quarterback.
Bryce Young.
Bryce Young from the Carolina Panthers. So that'll be
Morning.
fourth morning game of the season.
Wow,
We've doubled our morning games.
yeah. Maybe they're just trying to get people up and out of bed to come watch some football.
I'm going straight. One of the days, I'm showing up with just a liter of orange juice and champagne.
Yeah.
And I'm just going straight mimosas.
Mimosas.
And I'm not mixing. I'm just chasing the orange juice with champagne.
Here's my theory about that with the analytics is they see that, okay, if we get Cowboys fans up early, they watch all the games. If the game's at noon or in the evening, maybe they skip the morning games or something like that. So
And that's actually another good way, because we are trying to kind of transfer into doing a little bit more streaming on games that aren't Dallas Cowboys. So having 4 morning games does open us up. It does open us up a little bit more to being able to do another game, or our afternoon games then open us up to being able to do the night games.
The last 3 weeks here, week 16, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
This is an interesting one.
That's a primetime game. Sunday.
Third Sunday nighter of the year. Yep. So right now we got 3 Sunday night games and 2
Mondays,
2 Monday nights and 2 Thursday games.
and a Thanksgiving.
Thursday.
That's the Thursday.
That's the Thursday. So 2 Thursday games.
Well, I feel like the Thanksgiving game has to be classified like a Monday nighter.
Oh, for sure. Definitely.
They didn't give us one of those weird day games, like
Tuesday or what
Tuesday,
they were doing.
Tuesday or a Wednesday or.
Well, the Commanders could be.
This COVID years are gone.
Yeah, but the Commanders could be.
Could be.
Could be a weird day.
Week 17 at Philadelphia. That's just a midday afternoon game on Fox. And then our final game of the season here, Washington Commanders, Week 18, TBD.
TBD.
So they don't know.
TBD. So that 5 games to finish out the season. What do you guys got?
Thibodeau. I'm just gonna say we close out the game. We're gonna win all the games on the way out.
You read my mind.
So do you know what that?
5-0, baby.
Do you know what that puts?
Hit into that fucking overdrive going into the postseason. 5-0.
Do you know what that puts my record at?
You went 12. You went 4-2-3-3 5-0.
Let me say mine.
Oh, right.
4-1 is what I think.
Okay,
Close
4-1.
Ooh.
So AJ's
Which I like that run at the end, and it's against some.
We're all gonna have the same record.
Yeah. Let's see. So, Anth,
I'm 5-0. I'm saying 5-0.
AJ's doing some quick math right now.
I'm pretty sure we're all finishing with 13.
No, you and AJ.
Sorry, 12 and
you and AJ finished 11 and 6. Guess what Poppy finished at?
13 or 12 and 5.
12 and 5.
Okay.
Okay, well,
11 and 6. I was fringe thinking before like doing this exercise, before going through each game. I was feeling right now, and I think we said this earlier on an episode a couple weeks ago, I was feeling 10 and 7. So going through this and seeing the schedule, 11 and 6.
Yeah.
I'm still kind of